parcels on the corner of South Avenue and Madonna. Attached to the pamphlet I gave you are photos of the 5 existing used car lots on South Avenue between St. Luke's and Sam's Club. The churches next to and exactly across the street from the 4 parcels. And the parcels where, and on that one is the parcel where Mr. Pavlov wants to open a car lot. And our property next door to the parcel. My family and I live at 509 South Avenue, right next door to the above parcels. I have lived at this address since I was 4 years old, moved away after graduation, and later my husband and I bought the house from my parents in 1995. We thought this was a great place to raise our children to be well-rounded citizens. Our property may have a busier street than home development, but from the back porch it's like living in the country. The environment, with a very scenic nature, wooded area, has many wildlife animals from small to larger deer. A black bear once strolled through a couple years ago when our Boardman police knocked at the door to make sure our children's 4-H animals were protected. These backyard views are shared with most of the residential homes on South Avenue from Sparkles to St. Luke's. Since I have lived in the neighborhood, I have seen many children grow up, move away, and their parents continue to live in these houses into their senior years. Unfortunately, many have died. In this transition time, the homes are in the process of being sold, and it's exciting to see swing sets, decorated houses, and kids playing with cars as new young families move in. Even one of my older sons is fixing up the house next door so he could raise his children there. From Sparkles to St. Luke Church, there are 7 apartment buildings, 1 duplex, 1 group home, 1 towing business, 1 funeral home, 3 churches, and 47 residential homes. That's 47 residential homes. We have a major concern of these parcels turning commercial and having another unsightly used car lot being put on 1 or more of these parcels. There are already 5 used car lots between St. Luke's and Sam's Club. That already is too many in such a short distance. Our neighborhood street at South Avenue will soon look like Western Reserve Road, and which is also known as Used Car Lot Road. Used car lot after car lot is an eyesore. Even though South Avenue is not a residential home development, the definition for neighborhood in Webster's dictionary is collectively those who live near one another or the area in which they live, a proximity. With 47 single-home dwellings plus multi-dwellings and 3 churches, I would say that is a good definition of a neighborhood. It would be a mistake for Mr. Robert Pavlo, after buying this parcel just 6 months ago, changing it to commercial and opening a car lot. This would change the makeup of our area forever. As you make your decision, we invite you to take a ride on South Avenue, turn down Madonna Street, and see for yourself what the backyards of South Avenue homeowners enjoy. We ask that you please keep the zoning residential to and business so we, our neighbors, and the future homeowners can continue to raise our families in our progressing neighborhood as it changes from old homeowners to new ones. And also, for all the members of these 3 churches to be able to worship in a nice environment. 2 out of 3 of these churches are right next door and across the street from these parcels that he wishes to make into a car lot. Thank you for your time.
Questions? Mr. Dunn, you're okay right now? Okay, is there anyone else there were some people that walked in and out. Is there anyone else that would like to offer testimony in support of the request to change it to a commercial? Anyone here would like to offer support? Okay, sir, do you have anything to say, because we do give you the opportunity to, do you have any comments based upon the opposition? Do you have any comments that you'd like to follow up with?
Yeah, the only comment that I would like, I'd like you to strike the Western Reserve Road about the car lots, because all those car lots are Beaver Township. There's not one car lot in Boardman on Western Reserve Road. The two that were there are closed because they couldn't, I would assume they couldn't come to regulations to operate the way Boardman wants you to. And that's really all I got. I mean, going up South Avenue, she talks of the view of woods, and as soon as you come around Lutz, your view on South Avenue, everything is business on Lake Park. You got K-Max, IDX, and I was surprised when all the houses on that side when I went there, they told me, well, we're already commercial. I said, no, you're not commercial. They said, well, yeah, we are, blah, blah. I don't think it's not relevant, but a lot of people are already under the assumption that that area is or is going to be commercial. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate your time.
Is there anyone here who would like to offer testimony in opposition to the request? Is there anyone else here who would like to talk about opposition? Mr. Patter?
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
My name is David Patterack with 5109 South Avenue, Boardman, Ohio. Okay. I'm the property owner, obviously, adjacent to the property that's requested to be commercial. Mr. Pavlov discussed about having an investment there and putting an investment. I believe he paid about $17,500 for the small single home there that's sitting there that he would like to make for like an office building or for a car lot. And for a car lot. And I have a significant investment in this neighborhood also. I've been living there, like I said, since 1995. I obviously bought the home. I bought the property behind it. I bought the property next to it. And I've made improvements to it continuously each and every year. My investment comes to well over $100,000 there. And I like to protect my investment by keeping this area as a residential area as was intended for me and my family when I bought it. I don't have anything else to say.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Is there anyone else that would like to offer testimony either in support or in opposition? Okay. Now, Sarah, this has already gone and been denied at the zoning commission level. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you read into the recommendation of the Mahoning County Planning Commission and the Boardman Zoning Commission, please, into the record?
Mahoning County Planning Commission recommended approval in accordance with the land use plan. The Zoning Commission recommended disapproval.
Sarah, looking at our zoning commission voted 5-0.
It was unanimously against, correct.
Were you there when the planning commission made their decision?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Patterack addressed the board, and they looked at the future land use plan. So that was the content of the discussion at the county level. And their decision was based upon trying to stay in conformance with our land use plan.
So they were looking more at what the future holds than where we're at right now today?
Yes.
Do you have any other for or against the Boardman Zoning Commission meeting?
At the Zoning Commission meeting, I included in your packet the presentation made by the Patteracks was made to the Zoning Commission, and you have that documentation, and they provided it again. So that information was different at the Zoning Commission level.
Correct.
I'm not sure if we're at that future use.
I guess my struggle is just, if I could, the balance between maintaining the neighborhoods like we want to and also allowing businesses to be able to prosper and understanding that, yes, South Avenue is changing and how we predict what that's going to look like in a few years is difficult. And I guess this is just an obvious question. Is there any way that you foresee that a new business in that area and maintaining the integrity of that neighborhood that could coexist? Is there something that would? Is there a situation or circumstances that would allow both of these both of this to exist.
You can open a business in the front part of it.
I think she was going to...
Well, it's already, it's residential too and business. What if there was a doctor's office where there, something quiet, where all these people, these 47 houses still are raising families or living there? They don't want to be near anything trashy or noisy. But like I said, like a doctor's office where they keep everything nice and they're there for business hours and then that's it.
But can you imagine a situation where this gentleman could have a business like he wants to run that would not, that would meet the standards that you would find acceptable for that neighborhood?
No, because I see what the other ones look like.
Well, disregarding other folks, if we were to move forward, I guess is my question.
It's just a bunch of cars living there.
Yeah,
I
most of
just
them are.
don't think it fits in right now. Maybe 10 or 15 years.
Okay.
So you're saying you kind of agree with the county commission that if we were looking long-term, you might see this happening
Like
long-term.
10, 15 years.
As the
maybe
residential
that-
area becomes less residential,
If you
people
get-
move out?
If you give the area an opportunity from the deceased and elderly people to young people moving in, and, I mean, it's slow, but it's happening, and I just don't think anybody will move back in, and it ends up being a car lot.
Any other questions?
Other than just maybe a question around the logistics of what we have to do here today, is there any way, I guess I'm just going to speak for myself, I'm not so sure I'm comfortable placing a vote today.
We have 20 days, correct?
Yes,
To
sir.
make a decision.
And if the zoning commission denies, it can only be overturned through a unanimous vote.
So our zoning commission said no. All three of us would have to vote to overturn that decision
Yes.
in favor.
How's the 20-day process? We've never faced that.
What we would do is, you would close the hearing now, and then at the first agenda of your first meeting, you would do a motion to approve, disapprove, whatever you wanted to do on the first agenda of the new year, which would be within the 20 days.
That required the court reporter to come back out?
Just to make a decision, it's not another hearing, you would strictly be voting.
Is there a motion that needs to be made for that?
I don't know if you want to continue any discussion or not, Brad, but just gentlemen.
Yes.
I have one more thing. If you're talking about the future integrity or the business of the place, what it looks like in the future is what you asked my wife basically if we could see it. Well, I mean, it's still a two-lane operation there. It's not an oil anyway. And if you go back down to where you're all familiar where Sam's Club is, I
Yes.
assume. And the demographics of Sam's Club is the exact same demographics that my home is in now, which you have a side street to dead end face gates to face. And when Sam's Club moved in there and built, took that whole side of the street, there was that one lonely home on the other side of the street as a non-commercial, which would be the situation where I would be lifted. And that home still sits there by itself, and it's pretty much worthless. Nobody would ever buy it. Nobody would ever want to live there. And it's just sitting there. And that would be basically how I would and it's pretty easy to come in from another residence in Boardman, living somewhere else where you live in a neighborhood and want to change somebody else's neighborhood into a business area.
Thank you. Larry, do you wish to?
I guess I'd like to make a motion. Can we table, what's the proper terminology to table this vote until the next board meeting?
Taking it under advisement and closing the hearing out, and then issue a decision in 20 days.
Okay. I'd like
You
to
want
make...
to close the hearing out. If you table it, you'll have to reopen the public
Okay.
hearing.
So I'd like to make the motion to close this meeting out and take this into further advisement and to ask for a vote to be placed at the next scheduled board meeting.
that would allow time for all of us to physically go and drive the property, walk the property, before we make a final decision. I can second that.
Sarah?
Larry Montana.
Aye.
Tom Costello.
Aye.
Brad Cowden.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
All right, that closes this hearing now. We will, when is our next scheduled meeting? Do you have that down? Yes.
January 11th.
January 11th?
January 11th.
Okay. Yeah, January 11th at 5:30. That be correct?
Yeah. And that'll be the first time on our agenda.
Well, January 11th, 5:30, we will render a decision on this. Okay. Thank you very much for both of you for
Thank you.
coming in.
Thanks. Yeah, but there's no security for her. No, that's not.
So, do you need anything from us then?
Right here.
Thank you. Okay, you guys ready to move on to the next one? All right, calling the order our regular meeting of Boardman Township Trustees. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first part of this meeting is anybody that has any questions or comments for the board. This time is accorded to them now, and that might be to wish to talk about before. You don't have to be sworn in now. If you could just refresh your name and address for us.
Yes, Martha Trompego. I live on Forest Garden Drive in Boardman. I am here with a few other Boardman residents because we would like to see 2 regulations added to the current ones under Regulations Governing Dog Control, Section 2, Control and Restraint. The current ones that are written are to protect the public from the dogs. We would like to see some that would protect the dogs. The first one, we would like to see some limits placed on the time a dog is tethered. Perhaps maybe not for 60 continuous minutes in a 5-hour period. We would like some guidelines for the length of the tether. Warren City has their states that the tether has to be at least 12 feet long and the movement of the dog has to be at least 12 feet long. The second one, we would like to see it mandatory for owners to bring in their pets in very cold and hot conditions. Warren again has an ordinance that states no person shall house, shelter, or tether an animal in any of the following circumstances. 1, if a heat or cold advisory has been issued by a local or state authority or the National Weather Service, and 2, if a severe weather warning has been issued by a local or state authority of the National Weather Service. This can protect the animals' safety, which we would like to see. In our neighborhood right now, we have a 7-month-old Rottie puppy who is tethered 24/7 in a dark garage. He's never permitted in the house, not even on those cold nights that were below freezing. His chain is 3 feet long. He does have food, occasionally has water. The mat that he has to sleep on is either damp or wet. We know this is not good for him. We know this can cause arthritis. If the garage door is open or the access door is open, he can get out, but his movement is limited because it's only a 3-foot chain. We know that this is not good for the dog as a puppy. We also know that tethering a dog extensive periods of time, research has shown that they can become aggressive, and this is not good for the neighborhood. But we're not here just for Charlie. We're here for any animal that has to live in some adverse conditions that could affect their proper growth and healthy development, whether it be physically, emotionally, mentally, or socially. We know these factors affect dogs just as they do humans. I talked to Diane Fry, a dog warden, about this, and she said because Boardman has no regulations limiting the time a dog can be tethered, there's nothing they can do. in Youngstown, they could seize the dog. So we would like Boardman to step up, do the right thing, and protect these dogs that don't have a voice. So what we're looking for is strong and compassionate leadership, and we're hoping that that's you today. There's three things that we need to know today. First of all, we need to know your thoughts and feelings. Are you willing to work to change this as our representatives? We need to know what the steps would be and how long it would take. What's the time frame here? And we also need to know what we have to do as citizens and voters of Boardman. So I talked with Jason about that, but I see he's not here today.
He's on his way to the vet with his dog.
Oh, okay.
Out of town.
And he expressed to me that this was a concern and that he invited me to come. So we would just like to hear from you, and hopefully we can solve this and protect in Boardman.
There's nothing I disagree with what you said as far as what we need to do to take care of them. It's just, I guess my only question is what we are able to do.
The semantics of it.
Is that something that comes fall under your...
The dog home rule resolution is normally administered by the police department, but we would be willing to help with anything. But we've gone through many home rule resolution revisions, so we do know the process. Jason knows the process very well.
So it's a home rule resolution that needs to be
Yes.
But I think we need...
Anyway.
We can assist, but it's administered by the police department, so we would assist them, but they would be the ones who would be the ones responsible for citing under it. They do the loud barking, the dog off the leash, they do the other portions of it now.
But I think we need to do some research into what that resolution would say. I mean, there's a far stretch from a dog being in a garage 24/7 on a leash that's 3 foot long and going to starting to set some of the other regulations, and we have to
Right.
understand what's appropriate
Right.
and how we can protect the dogs, but at the same time giving the, I guess, a benefit of the doubt to pet owners who are trying to do the right thing and trying to take care of their pets.
Correct.
My personal issue is that I had a husky who loved to be outside in the winter, and I had a neighbor who thought that it was inappropriate, and the dog was very healthy, lived a long life, and loved being out in the cold weather. And I didn't want that neighbor should make the judgment about whether or not that pet should be outside, because there are a lot of people who have, who love their pets and take care of their pets. And so I think that you're right, there has to be something, but I would like to see us do a lot of research to find out what is the appropriate way to protect those pets, and at the same time giving those homeowners a little bit of, I guess, freedom in how they raise their pets, as long as they do it respectfully. Is that fair?
That sounds fair. And the research would come from where?
I don't know, and I think that's what we have to figure out.
We can reach out to the Ohio Township Association and see what other townships in the state have done. We belong to CLOUT, the Coalition of Large Ohio Urban Townships. We can reach out to see what other larger townships have done in the state. We can see if there's any other home rule ordinances that address this issue so that we can look at it. We need to have our attorneys look at it. And first off, believe me, I'm a dog person. So we never told our dog she was a dog. So with that being said, I agree with you. We need to be careful because our last home rule resolution that we passed is still being challenged in court. So we want to be able to have something that is enforceable without us spending thousands of dollars of taxpayers' money being challenged in court. So I would look to the dog warden for information. I'd look to the Ohio Township Association for information. I'd look to the other CLOUT townships, large urban townships, how they have addressed this issue. And can we adopt that same language as a township that will hold up in court?
Would you be willing to work with Jason?
Yes.
As an advisory, maybe a few people as an advisory group? Because I think Jason would be very much interested in working on such a project as well.
Jason started the pet...
Right.
What's it called? Paul's Town. So I think, we agree with you that there has to be something. I think we just want to make sure that we're thoughtful in what that process would be.
And then if we could include some people, like maybe a vet or someone that really knows the development of dogs and what's best for them, would that be appropriate?
I think what I would ask is that you get with Jason sometime this week.
Okay.
And I think maybe between the two of you, you think about a small committee that can do some of that research
Okay.
and what you're thinking. And then Jason will follow up with the cloud. He will follow up with
Township
asking other
Association.
townships, because it's an email blast that goes out. Has anybody addressed this in their township? And then they start sending back all their information, so the research will come into us.
And the nice thing is we'll find out what didn't work too.
We're not going to reinvent the wheel, but someone has done this probably. This is the first time it's ever been brought to this board's attention that there's a concern, and it certainly is a concern.
We get requests from other communities in Ohio all the time. How do you handle this? And we send them our information. So we'll request of others, what have you done anything, and what have you done? So it can come in and we can see what's been done. They may have written a rule that was challenged in court and already won. So we want to mirror that as much as possible.
Okay.
I think your question on the timetable, basically, that's going to come down to you and Jason talking, but when it gets in the hands of lawyers, then that's where it becomes not weeks, but months. But I would hope that with what you brought to us, I would hope that we could have something on the books sooner than later.
And the other thing we want to make sure is that from the sounds of it too, we have to make sure that we don't allow people to raise dogs to be violent.
Right.
And I think that's what you see sometimes with some of those things.
Right,
And be predators.
right. And at this point, there's probably nothing we can do for the dog that's tethered 24/7.
We might have, I mean,
I called animal charities, I did, and they said they could come out and do a wellness check.
Okay.
They could try to educate the owners better, but they have no jurisdiction either. My problem here is that I walk Charlie. I've asked for permission to walk him, what the owners have given me, but I'm worried that if somebody comes out and they're going to say to me, okay, you can't walk him anymore because you've created this problem of... So I'm walking a fine line there. But animal charities did say they would come out anonymously. I guess I would
Yeah.
just have to talk to them about...
I had actually a similar situation in my neighborhood. I will tell you, it took a good year and a half. But I had animal charity. I called them regularly. They moved a lot regularly. And finally, the owners actually surrendered the dog,
Okay.
which was a godsend. It happened like two months ago. You don't know how happy my heart is
Yeah.
because it does take some time to work with them. I've had great success with them, and they're very caring and helpful. And I certainly know Diane Fry. I'm sure we can sit down. We actually met with Senator Schiavone and had a meeting about this a few months ago also. So I'm sure that we can move ahead.
Okay.
Well, and the one thing is, unfortunately, I don't know about this particular dog you're referring to, but hopefully if we do this right, it'll be in the best interest of, hundreds of dogs,
Right.
in the future. So that's what we'll try to do.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate your
well,
help.
thank you.
Thanks for bringing it to our attention.
Appreciate it. Is there anyone else that has any general comments for the board? All right. Okay, at this point then, we're opening up two bids. There's no other bids, right, Gary? Just the two that we have. We're opening up two bids for a replacement of a salt barn. Those are before you. I believe you have potentially two proposals within each, right? Start new or start from the concrete up?
No, it's one total bid. Tear down, put a tear down to the wall, and then put a new one up on top of the existing wall.
Okay, no other options?
No.
Okay. What page might they be looking for?
It should be a colored page.
The blue?
Like a small table with
the
all
old
around
one,
I got it. Okay. This one is
Right up front.
Sites Builders.
I'm sorry?
Sites.
Sites? SI?
SEITZ. $185,500.
Okay, and I have a bid from Advanced Truss, Inc., and their bid is $199,752.
Okay. And these are going to go into your hands, Larry, and Larry.
I would move to have Gary DiOrio, the Township Engineer of Record, through MS Consultants, Inc., to review all bids, prepare a bid tabulation, and provide a letter of recommendation for award for the salt barn.
Second. Kind of a question that...
Discussion?
I guess my question is, like, what's the urgency here of doing this? I mean, how much...
Well,
do we have enough time to kind of let this go? We only have 2 bids, so I don't know if...
yeah, we do have time.
Okay.
Especially if the weather continues to hold up. The problem is that the top of the barn is in deteriorating condition. And we're worried about when we start to work inside there with our loader as to having something happen where the top caves in on us and we have results in an accident and an injury to one of our employees.
I guess the only reason I'm asking is, do we have time to wait until our next meeting to award that, or...
Yeah, I would say.
Well, we need, yeah. Are we within the estimate on these?
Yes, the estimate was $225,000.
Okay,
So
all right.
Okay.
it's a good bid.
Yeah, so you just want to go through and make sure everything's in there.
Right, make sure the bonds are up to date and accurate.
So you'll have a recommendation on January 11th?
Yes, your next meeting, I'll have a recommendation.
Okay, but you don't feel the need for us to get together prior to that to do that?
From what I understand from what I've heard on the weather, we're not expecting any significant amount of snow until towards the end of January.
And do you have a sense of what how long this project would take?
In the specifications, we wrote in there that the project will likely be sometime like closer to the springtime when the amount of salt is
I
at its
see.
lowest. Because part of it, the township has to remove all the salt that's in the building now, relocate it for them to work.
So just our luck, it'll be one of those years we don't need a lot of it, right?
We'll still have to move
That's
on.
fine.
I hope
Do
so.
we have a place to
That'll
put
pay
it?
for the barn.
We'll just put it outside and target. We have done that in the past.
That's what other communities do.
Yeah, there's some communities that don't have salt barns that actually just target them. But yeah, we'll eventually have to move it. I mean, this year is, knock on wood, has been a very good year as far as the weather's concerned. I don't see, they're predicting some mixture coming up, which may, it result in a couple of call-outs, but nothing that's going to significantly reduce it. We have like 4,000 tons in that barn right now, so it's going to take some major doing to move it. I mean, we'll have to move it eventually once we get into moving it, but we have to understand too, this is not only for the township. The union has worked with us, and the union does have a right through the contract to provide health and safety for the employees, for their union members, and they're working with us rather than filing agreements. They would give us the opportunity to result in an environment. That's what we're working into.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. We'll wait anxiously with January 11th for your recommendation.
We have to vote on that?
You gotta vote on that motion there.
Oh, yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0. All right, over on our regular agenda, we are amending this a little bit. Number 9 is going to be removed. Number 9.
I would move to approve motions 1 through 8 and 10 through 15, with
Second.
9 being removed.
Second.
Okay. 1 through 6, this is all dealing with the fiscal office. Do you have any comments, Bill, on the end of your fiscal?
No, just that to remind everyone that the temporary appropriations of $7 million allow us to continue operating through March 31st when we must adopt the final appropriations. That's just going to get us through the first couple of months and so we can continue to operate.
Okay. Any questions on 1 through 6? All right, Sarah, 8 through 12, without 9, I guess.
Resolution 8, nuisance abatement 26, 28 Willow Drive, duplex. That property has rubbish and debris throughout. We sent 2 letters attempting to get it cleaned up. Things like holes, carving, piling wood. We'd like to, with the motion on the board here, get it cleaned up prior to bad winter weather, and then it would sit there for an extended time. So this will allow us to get it cleaned up, and the lien would be trying to recoup our expenses. Number 10 is the land bank website. Our revised code mandates all land banks keep an up-to-date list that is available for public view at all times. So the website would satisfy this requirement. Barrett does maintain and design our website, so this is for work that they have a draft ready. It would go live with the approval of this motion. Number 11, 6024 South Avenue, a vacant home across the street from the fire station on South Avenue. It had tenants who left significant debris on the driveway. The landlord property owner has passed away, and it's in probate. It's going to be some time before that junk is cleaned up, so let's just get it cleaned up. We've had a lot of complaints from the residents who live behind it of the trash that's laying around. So this would let us get it done. We've been trying to notify the executor of the state and different things. We haven't had any luck. Number 12 is for the fire station property on 224. It turns out some of that property is actually zoned residential R1, oddly enough. This is to initiate a zone change so that all of that township property is zoned commercial, like all of the other property on 224.
Okay, and also, Sarah, I just wanted to clarify, motions 13 and 14, the Southern Park Historical District. We have two amounts being done for some work over there, $173,000 and $43,000.
Yes.
Can you speak of, we received a grant from the state.
Yes, this is from Governor Kasich, the Ohio Capital Grant. This was awarded to Boardman Township in 2015 for the Southern Park Historic District, which is the former Jennings Haynes Stables, and the Smith property, which is the property owned by the township. This is going to be paid for by a grant.
Okay, great. And Sarah, number 15 as well.
This is another grant for 2 areas of property that the township is looking to acquire through Clean Ohio Fund. The Lev Wetland Preservation Area is the area at Matthews and Sheridan. The tree wetland area where every now and then we have a suggestion of development. So this would allow us to acquire a large portion of it and hopefully protect it from development.
How many acres there might be involved there?
18.
18?
Yes.
That's between 680 and Sheridan, I meant.
Yes. And the other property is in conjunction with the county, the Yellow Creek Preservation Area. The county is looking to place a pump station there. Is that what they want to put there? So they want to put the pump station there. The remainder of the property that we could hold it is also wetlands that have been undevelopable. Developers have tried. So rather than having development rumors rise every few years, this would protect it, and the wetlands would be allowed to remain.
And there's no real maintenance of this land once we would acquire it?
Correct.
And that pump station's part of the substantial redoing of the sanitary station at the end of East Parkside, as I understand.
Correct.
Yeah.
This is a good
Which is a several million-dollar project.
It's for the Boardman upgrade.
Right.
Great. Any comments?
Well, I just want to make a comment on motion number 7. I guess 2 comments on that. Just as number 1 would be to, I guess, thank MS Consultants and Gary and the work that they do for us. It's been a great partner with us over the years and have done good for us. But I also want to maybe clarify that $5,000, that comes, if I understand right, that comes off of, is that a standard retaining fee, or does that get worked off over the year?
It's not a retaining fee. Just if you need me to do certain things, that's what that...
You draw off that money?
I draw off.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So you draw off it. So we always end up using you guys for a lot. So even though it looks like that's a $5,000 expense, it really isn't. That just goes towards the work that we're going to do with you throughout the year.
Right.
Okay.
And the reason why we pulled number 9 is that we're still making some more revisions to the plan there.
Yeah.
And so that'll probably come back again one more time to us
Hopefully on the 11th.
on the 11th.
A final answer on a couple pending issues.
Mr. Lake?
Mr. Costello.
Aye.
Mr. Moliterno.
Aye.
Mr. Calhoun.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Road Superintendent Larry Wilson. So far, so good.
So far, so good. Yeah, I guess you could say we're saving a few dollars. That's a definite, both in overtime and salt. comes our way. But,
Would you say that last year we've spent $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 at this point?
Yeah, last year we probably had somewhere around 10 call-outs and probably used in the neighborhood of 1,000 tons. So yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good estimate. Probably just on the overtime, depending on how long the guys are out.
Well, 30,
salt,
40,000.
yeah, we're still working on our thing from the Exxon and bid with the county. And so, you know, we're under no obligation to buy any more than we already have. We bought 500 tons out of the 2,500 that we guaranteed we would buy, and I don't see us buying any more until the situation where we can hold it down.
I would imagine supply and demand, and if salt companies
And our
sitting
bid
on
goes through a year, too. Our bid goes through a year, so this, you know, the bid came in beginning of September or something like that, so we have till next September to actually.
And if the price would go down, do we have the ability to rebid?
Yes, that's actually in the bid document.
Because I'm assuming that there's going to be perhaps an excessive amount of salt left.
Well, we're hoping so.
Yeah.
You mean like last year when salt was getting used so heavily and the price all of a sudden skyrocketed?
Right, to $150 a ton. Okay, anything else in the road department?
No, unless you have questions of me?
No. Thank you very much for everything you guys have done all year. Mark Pitzer, our fire chief.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple small items that are continuing to this day. Just an update, you know, our ladder truck is down in Ocala, Florida. It will be down there until we're looking at mid-January. We should get the ladder truck back. I went down on December 21st to look at our new engine. It's in production now. The cab is built. The cab is mounted onto the chassis. The pump module was going to be set either last week or this week, and then the body was done. It just got out of paint. So they gave me a tentative date for delivery of our new engine, January 24th, and it's been a long process waiting for this new truck to arrive. It's a much needed piece of equipment that we need, and we're just thankful that the Suffolk Corporation, they were able to provide us with a rental truck over this past year to use, and we've had to use that truck several times. Our fleet is aging, and we need to replace them, at least one more engine in the future. So, December looked to be a pretty busy month for us as far as fires. Everybody is obviously aware of the fire that occurred on Water Avenue where we had a fatality, and the coroner came out with some of the information regarding that. Very unfortunate set of circumstances there. And then that following Saturday, we had a fire on Caribou Drive, and it was one of our firefighters' home that burned that day. In fact, my brother's house. So it was definitely interesting, to say the least. Our crews did a great job at that fire as well. Started in my niece's bedroom, and we believe it's something electrical in nature that caused that fire. But our crews were able to respond out there relatively quickly and contain most of that fire to that bedroom. There was a lot of smoke damage on the second floor, and they're probably going to be displaced for probably 5 to 6 months. They're staying at their residence inn right now over on Tiffany South. So it's unique because I've been in the fire service for 16 years and never once been on this side, you know, of that process. And like yesterday, we were over at the house all morning, taking everything out of the kitchen, taking over to my sister-in-law's brother is a volunteer firefighter out in Springfield. Take all their stuff to their fire station to clean all the like kitchen
Appliances.
Yeah, appliances and cookware, flatware, just you know, everything. It was a lot of work. So, but you know, we're fortunate that we have a great fire department that we're able to stop and prevent a lot of these major fires from occurring. So.
Okay, great. Now your staff also great job for the year. Jack Nichols, advantage to the back of the room.
I'm in the middle of a hearing on the other side of the building, so I just wanted to come and see if the board needed anything. I don't really bring anything from the police department today.
Okay.
If I could be excused.
Thanks, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Sarah, you had quite a lot. Do you have anything else for us?
The motions pretty much speak for themselves, but I will answer any questions the board may have.
Good.
Your staff has also done an incredible amount of work this year. And we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Most of them right here.
Right.
Stephanie?
Nothing for the board? Nothing.
Administration? Fiscal, anything down there?
No, just to wish everyone a Happy New Year, safe holiday, and take care of the older guys, Larry.
Earlier, we had a ceremony for re-election, and you asked about cookies. Well, I'm not sure if you knew this, but you were buying us lunch in celebration of this.
Well, wait a minute, I didn't even get a raise.
Yeah. Well,
Yet.
then Larry's buying
Larry's
us lunch.
I would like to move at 11:42 to adjourn into executive session for purposes of discussing personnel, zoning commission appointment, Board of Zoning Appeals appointments, and zoning employment.
I'll second that.
Mr. Light?
Mr. Costello.
Aye.
Mr. Moliterno.
Aye.
Mr. Calhoun.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0.
Boy, you wanted to get off the head of something you haven't abided.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
We still have